So, but you think that the government is like doing like something towards segregation, like for example, the new administrative city or capital?
Well, when something becomes so successful, when a product becomes so successful, it's natural that everybody wants to deal in that product. So the product of selling land for an exclusive clientele and packaging exclusivity became the successful commercial formula. When the government in turn became a real estate developer in its own right, because so no reason why not do that. I mean, they're the biggest land owner. When they became a real estate developer, said, okay, we'll not only sell land, we might as well develop it and sell it as well. It's only natural to conceive of this new city in the same language of these exclusive parcels, and because again you're trying to sell a product as a higher quality of life, it's easier to sell it to those who can afford, and far more difficult to build quality of life for those who can't afford it.
That's true. Yeah. So you don't think that it's their intention is segregation?
No, definitely not. It's not by intention, but what I'm trying to say is that the commercial drive has superseded awareness of the complexities and the problems that you are creating by taking that route. The government cannot be focused on segregating its society and breaking it apart and so forth consciously. But these policies, and the direction they're going, and the drive to succeed, and the drive to build, and the drive to develop more revenues for the government, led towards that, and promoted and sort of nourished this segregationist direction.
So do you think that these gated communities like cause segregation in the community?
But of course, I mean, they contribute to it, but of course people are the ones who actually, people choose to live beyond the fence. People make a conscious choice to see others as others and not of the same kind, and to want, and they pay a lot of money to live behind the fence. We have to acknowledge that this social drive exists, and if it did not exist, these communities would not be so popular. But there is, of course, a certain, a sense of, let's say, a weak sense of security that is existing. People are a bit more apprehensive, they're a bit less trusting. This is manifested in your attempt to seek safety behind the fence in an exclusive path. But we have to understand, why do we feel so insecure, and why do we fear others, and why is this feeling increasing? Because it is fueling that segregationist way of life.
Okay, so to the kind of the generic question, do you think that the Cairo would in one day be just compounds, with different social classes?
Older Cairo, no.
Yeah, but the
newer versions of Cairo are there. I mean, they're not going to be. They are already, right?
Yeah, but are people gonna leave the old Cairo and then go to the newer Cairo? Because
people will always keep moving to newer Cairo, and others will be coming in their place. But that's the nature of Egypt. We'll always be growing in population, so we'll always have people. You'll always have people to come in to replace those who move on. What is happening with older Cairo is that the elite moved out, but it's not any less crowded, صح? Someone else came in and took their place, صح? And then we moved up to New Cairo, and then we'll move on from New Cairo somewhere else, and someone else will come in, and New Cairo will be transformed in a different phase. And so this cycle, I think, will continue. This is a part of the nature of the country.
So why do you think like people go and like choose to live in gated communities other than fear?
Social status, comfort, quality of life. These are all factors. I mean, not everyone is afraid, but there are those who want a better quality of life. They want a more peaceful, more quality life. They're seeking that, not necessarily to be away from others, but they have a right to want to have a better quality of living. Others are genuinely afraid and want to be separate from others, and some are very elitist and want to be, and do not see that they belong with the rest of the with the nature. You have all of that because this is the nature of the social structure of our society.
So do you think that this kind of conditions wouldn't happen unless it's a gated community?
No, you can't say the gated community is causing that, or the others. It is dialectic, you know. It is gated communities came out as a product that is responding to something, but in the process, responding to a need in the market. But in the process, the increase in them started to change the market. So it goes back and forth. You create a product that is responding to a need, and then when a lot of it comes into the market structure changes, and it becomes a norm, and so on, and people get affected by it. It goes back and forth. It's never one source that is causing everything.
Okay. Do you think because in New Cairo now there's a lot of gated communities, but do you think that we go to other cities other than Cairo?
Of course. Of course, Cairo is the leader as always, but the rest of Egypt looks up to Cairo as a role model for ways of life. And now we're already, a lot of these developers are taking their model now and moving to other cities in the south. And of course, it already reached Alexandria, but it's moving down with the same genre. And but when they move over there, I'm pretty sure that the models will change as well, because then the specificity of the society there affects the model as well.
Okay. Yeah, I read one of the you did an interview with a girl from the caravan, and you said about the urban developing now, and that you said that the architects are doing the same mistake again. So can you elaborate more about that? Why do you think they're doing the same mistake again?
Because we're not innovating, we're doing the same. We are producing the same types of buildings that we have been for the past 70 years.
Yeah.
So, if there were mistakes, then we must be repeating the same mistakes, because we haven't really changed the way we design and build buildings in this country for the past 70 years.
Right. So the idea is about the buildings themselves.
Yes, and the planning of the cities. Because again, today, New Cairo is supposed to be a new city, yet it got paralyzed with some rain today, like your old city. It's not as if we learned from our mistakes and planned our new cities in a different way. We kept repeating the same mistakes that we did in our previous cities.
Probably one of the last questions. What is the disadvantage, do you think, of gated communities
Disadvantage?
Yeah.
The fact that yes, the fence does promote segregation of society, that it separates people from their city, separates people from different people from each other, and that cannot be healthy in the long run for a society. A city is a unified being. It's one being. It has to work together in spite of its different components and its different social classes and so forth, but it has to work together. For concentrating on breaking it down to different isolated components that don't necessarily behave together is definitely not healthy in the long run for the city's well-being.
One last question. Do you think that gated communities will like keep going like or targeting the elite, or they would go like and try to like have middle class or like
they already are addressing middle classes and so on.
Like,
you're already getting different forms of gated communities. Some are purely individual residential units in them. Others have combinations of villas and apartment buildings, and others are just apartment buildings. And some of these communities are bardu for more middle class target segments as well. It's become a notion that is this notion of, as I said, the fence and the enclosure and the stuff like that is growing out of scale, yeah. So to speak.
Okay, I finished my questions. Do you want to ask about anything? Do you want to add anything or comment about anything?
No, I think we covered most.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, and like.
Good luck.
Yeah.